area called number theory, which people thought was completely useless, and this has turned out not to be the case. So, for example, when you buy things on Amazon or anywhere on the internet, you use something called public key cryptography, which is something which came out of number theory, and it's very important for essentially all of e-commerce now. Then there are surprising applications of mathematics. So if you understand patterns in the picture that you have, you can encode the same image using less data than you would think, and that would take less time. And this is now having big impact in MRIs. So if you want to take an MRI of someone who is very ill, or let's say a child who is ill, and the MRI is a procedure which takes a long time, and the child has to be still in the MRI machine for a while, and these are not easy things to manage. If you can now use mathematics combined with electrical engineering and other applications to reduce the amount of MRI time that it takes by a factor of 2, then you would have made a big contribution to society.
What reforms can be taken by the Indian education system to coerce the interest of students in science?
The physics teacher that I had, after teaching about all the 4 seasons, he asked us, look, Earth is supposed to be rotating at 23.5 degrees, right, with respect to, he says, what happens if that goes to 32? The point is, he was not expecting us to give the absolutely correct answer. He wanted us to think. As long as your teachers keep making you think, as long as they help you become more and more curious, that is sufficient, I think.
Teaching and learning about science is best when the people who are teaching also have some experience of research. I think at most of the universities in the US, even at liberal arts colleges, the professors are expected to continue a research program. You cannot just be a teacher, although teaching is an important part. And I think that has been something which has been lacking in India, that in many of the universities, not much attention is paid to research, and this also affects how you teach, because you cannot really teach someone curiosity when you're not doing work in the area yourself.
My question to you is there a prospect of a reverse brain drain in India? Is it actually happening?
Well, you know, it is happening. But not as much as we would like. But it is all for us to make this a desirable country for the non-resident Indians to come back and work. As long as you make the quality of life reasonably good, as long as you create decent infrastructure, as long as they can send their children to a decent school, as long as there's reasonable healthcare facility, then they will come back. Because I don't know of, I have not come across a single non-resident Indian who does not have tremendous affection for India, who does not have pride in India.
Sir, you had famously said, and I'd like to quote, our assets walk out the door every evening. We have to make sure they come back in the morning. So how, sir, in your opinion, do we create an atmosphere so that a large number of world-class companies set up their R&D labs in our country, which would encourage students to pursue their research in India, instead of just going abroad and staying there and India not being able to reap its rewards?
I think we have to create an environment where we are open to new ideas. We have to create an environment of meritocracy. We have to create an environment of discussion and debate. We have to create an environment of quick resolution of our problems. We have to create an environment of high aspirations. We have to benchmark ourselves with the best in the world. We may not be there, we may be far away from it. At least as long as you look in that direction and say, I will